Guys, this is going to be a breakdown of my 24th race, this being week 7 of racing in Tameside. So it was just the E12, just the Cat 234 this week, so didn't have to worry about saving any energy for the second race, which is what I'd been doing for the past few weeks. But well, not saving energy. I'd put it all into that first race, but it was inevitable that I'd still got some more racing to do in the legs. Yeah, just the 1:55 minute 40 lap crit. Yeah, got on decently well. Got 7th on the day with a stronger field as the week before. Not as many riders had turned up. But yeah, decent field this week, and was able to stick with the bunch the whole time, and then just try and contest for at the finish. So yeah, really didn't make any special moves early on. I did one attack off the front where I knew I wasn't getting away, and I just kept nice and steady power on the front, which is almost. I mean, it's hard to tell. It's impossible to tell what it was like behind. Whether when I was on the front, it was nice and easy behind. It's probably this section here, where I'm just keeping a lot steadier on the power, not having to spike the power. And maybe the guys behind me were really enjoying this as well, just to ease off. But if it was that easy, guys would have just been coming around me, really. So I don't know. It feels like sitting on the front a little bit like that. It's nice to conserve a bit of energy, really, because you're doing more power than the guys in your draft, but you're really nice and steady on the pedals rather than that slingshot effect of the if you're at the back in the corners. So yeah, I wasn't doing anything special, just staying into contention, holding the wheels as best as possible, and trying to conserve as much energy as possible. But yeah, it's a different, always a decently hard race here. So 42k an hour, 330 average, 370 normalized. But yeah, not bonkers. And I basically just saved it till the end. I'm like, okay, we're gonna be patient here. We're not gonna get on the front with 5 laps to go. We're gonna really wait until the end. And yeah, the opportunity came with opportunity came with several laps to go, and I'm like, no, we'll hold off. And 1 lap to go, guys sat up. So yeah, absolutely just launched it on the final lap. So this is coming through the final corner into the home straight, and then so I launched my attack here, just with 1 lap to go, hit the front and just getting it up to 50 and like trying to keep that speed as high as possible, and maintaining myself on the front. So like big effort out of the hairpin, obviously. And here this is where I mean I'm obviously keeping the speed really high, but this is where guys started to come around me coming into this corner here, and I think my choice of line could have helped stop them coming around. So think about coming into this right hand corner here. I should have gone all the way on the right, just so if a guy's come round me, he has to come up on the inside and take a worse line through the corner. Whereas I was definitely left space on the right and the left coming up this straightaway here, even though I was going at pace, and obviously it's going to be hard for guys to come round, but they were able to do that, and they kind of came up my left side, around the outside of this corner, and it meant that they took the inside line through this corner here. But yeah, so I was leading going into that final lap, and some guys came around me coming into this corner, and then through the corner itself, a couple of guys, one guy came past, I think, but then held on decently for the finish. But and it was a really big last effort. That last minute was I don't think I haven't done a max 1 minute effort before, but 6:75 for a minute is like. It's good going. It's moving at pace, that. So yeah, and that's a hard effort to do. But just not able to hold off the guys behind with that sort of effort. So yeah, in some races, when the quality of the field's this high, that attack's just not happening, and you need to go. Even though it felt like I was being nice and patient, 1 lap to go is still too early, I think. So you probably just need to find a wheel to sit on. Ideally, they start to move up, get yourself in good position, like top 10, top 5, and then turn on the afterburners. You could do an attack down here and hit the front here, and then it's a 30-second effort to hold on for, or you just wait until the sprint. So yeah, even though I was being patient this week, it's to be up there for the top three or the win, you need to be going even later, or go earlier. So the strategies from now on is just going to be keep contact, obviously, don't get dropped. Then during the third quarter of the race, there might be an opportunity to get a breakaway established, so try some attacks there after the preems happened. But if they don't get away, last quarter of the race, just sit in, try and save some energy, and then just try and find yourself in good positioning coming into this final lap, where you can move past at some stage in the final lap, whether that's on this straightaway or in the sprint finish. So yeah, it was worth a try doing this, because I mean, I've made it work in the lower level races, just drilling it on the front for the last few laps, or just drilling it on the front for the last lap, and I was just strong enough on the day to hold those riders off. Whereas today in a higher quality field, even though my power was really good, the guys are still just able to come around me before the finish, so just need to hold on later. Obviously, it's touch and go though, because everyone's trying to do the same thing. Everyone's trying to find a wheel to move up on later. So it's definitely something to learn, working within those dynamics. But you're gonna have to learn it, especially on a circuit like this, where it's so hard to get a breakaway established, and you can't just be a diesel engine like I like to be. So yeah, I'm racing there again this evening. Just about to head off there. So we'll see how it goes. I'll see if I can be patient and follow the right wheel coming into that final lap, and maybe be in contention for a sprint finish. Yeah. This is going to be an analysis of my 25th race, which was actually my first 25-mile TT. This is a course in Nottingham, and it's generally a very fast course. So it's on this A road, so back and forth along this A road, and then you're onto the B road for the finish. So a little bit twisty at the finish and at the start, but other than that, it's a really buttery smooth road, and generally quite a fast course. But with the elevation, it's over 100 meters of elevation for the course, and you definitely feel it. So if you look at my speed, like it's coming on these downhill sections, I'm up to 60k an hour, and then the uphill drags, like you're working harder, but yeah, you're not going very fast. So it's very up and down of when to be on the gas, when not to be. So that was definitely something to learn, because the 10-mile TTs that I've done so far, I've done 4 10-milers, and they've all just been pretty much flat. So didn't have to worry about this. Whereas with the hills to navigate, you need to save something for the hills, and learn to ease off on the downhill. So yeah, I mean, I did decently. So like the first half, we had a cross tailwind, so moving a fair bit faster on the way out, and because of that, you're wanting to save your energy for the return leg. So so my average power for the whole duration was 359, but like I say, I wasn't perfect at this. I probably could have eased off a little bit more. So 350 average, 352 average. Like I could have probably been eased off the gas a little bit more, but in terms of speed, like at least it gave me a little bit of buffer to work with, like being sufficiently over 48k an hour. So I was aiming to do sub 50, so aiming for 48k an hour plus, so that 40 to 50 range. But I didn't know how bad the return leg would be, so maybe panicked a bit and used a bit too much energy. But like look at even with the tailwind, like this hill is such a difficult thing to navigate. Like your speed's really dropping off. So yeah, I don't think I paced it poorly, but on these downhill sections with the tail on the downhill sections, I could. The priority is definitely getting aero and easing off the power if you can, but that goes for both ways. And at the end of the day, I saved some more energy for the way back. So after the turnaround, I did manage to get back on the gas. The turnaround was nice actually, because you were able to get out of the saddle for this uphill drag. Not going very fast, obviously, because it's nice and really steep onto the slip road. But you're just out the saddle, getting some power down, and giving yourself a rest from being sat in the saddle that whole time. But then on the way back, so just to the final roundabout, it was more power on the way back, which is good. so save more energy for that headwind, but the speed's still a fair bit lower, which I mean the speed's decent, but compared to 51 on the way out, maybe I could have made this 370 and the way out 340. So same overall power, average power, but saving a bit more for the harder section. So, but yeah, race doing decently, and I was really suffering with saddle sores in the. I was saying past the 30-minute mark, I was really suffering, and my head position definitely got worse, and I was shuffling around in the saddle. So I definitely have more to gain from. The position was good, but it definitely could have been better. I definitely could have been more diligent with holding my head in a favourable position. But and if I wasn't suffering, I reckon I could have produced a bit more power as well. So even though it was a really good time at the end of the day, like 48:28, it's a starting point, and I think there's definitely more to give from here. So I mean, my heart rate, like, only into the 160s on the way out. I mean, I'm chilling, and then on the way back, I'm touching on 170, but based on what I can do, if I'm at my limit, I'm like in the 180s and holding that. And here, so this return leg, I probably in an ideal world, I would have started ramping it up a lot more here, get this heart rate closer to 180. But because of the saddle sores, I was just like, I mentally couldn't do that. But once I got to this final turnaround and back onto the local road for the last bit, I did just decide to empty the tank. So this was basically just like a 3.5 minute VO2 max effort, and so yeah, it told me that there was more in the tank. Ideally, I would have used this energy sooner on, like during this backward stretch, to pick up a bit more speed, and then rather than just blowing all my my energy on this final stretch. But like I said, it was mainly the fact I was suffering with saddle sores, which prevented me from doing that. So yeah, it was a really good outing at the end of the day, and I managed to get the win by over half a minute, which is really good for first 25 miler, and there's definitely room to grow from here. So, and CDA, definite improvement from every other race I've done. So typically was 0.215 to 0.22 before, and both this estimate and the Strava source estimate are estimating below 0.2, which makes sense. But mainly, a lot of that is just coming from the rolling resistance of the road, I reckon. Because yes, I'm able to hold a better position because of that road, but I think my previous CDA estimates have been on the high end, mainly because the courses are quite rough and hard, whereas on a buttery smooth road like this is like a more realistic estimate of what my CDA is. So it's good to see that my CDA is actually a bit better than that. But and with the hills as well, like I'm not accounting for hills with the CDA estimate. It's assuming it's a perfectly flat course and perfect conditions, which I certainly haven't been getting. I feel like they've been relatively hard conditions. I mean, they're not being atrocious apart from the first race, but yeah, they haven't been the best conditions. Ideally, it's a lot more still than this, where the return leg doesn't have a bit of a nasty headwind. But yeah, very happy with this first effort, and see if I can get some faster times under the belt, and then do really well at nationals in August. Spin data ranking should definitely be improving once this result's taken ages to come through. They've only just officially published it on CTT, so once these both come through, my ranking should come down a lot from 240, close to sub 100, I reckon, and then this overall ranking should be top 30. I don't know,